Okay, so after playing for 9 hours, been streaming for 9 hours now, I have a few things to say about the game, okay? So currently, I am at level 13, almost 14, and 14 is where you can start the second part of the story, where you're not like locked anymore. So I've just been running around collecting chests, doing puzzles, doing like small side quests, exploring the map for a while. I think overall, the main draw of this game for me is obviously the combat. I thought it was gonna be good coming into the game, right? But after playing around with it more, like the fact that you can like switch instantly right in the air, like you can switch and there's like so much fluidity to things. Like you can switch out characters mid-animation, right? And your characters will still finish animations. I think you can show it better in combat. You can't really see it here, but essentially you can like switch in between animations and in the air. I think it's like very fluid and very nice, right? It overall feels nice. It feels weighty. The enemies attack very fast and different enemies have different attack patterns. It's always also nice to have to parry enemies and do perfect dodges and stuff like that. I think there's like skill involved, especially in the early game where I can't just brute force stuff, right? So I actually have to like parry and dodge, and maybe that'll be the same in the end game as well, but I can't say. It's my first impressions. Actual degenerate. Yeah, overall the combat just feels fluid, right? And the movement overall in the game as well, like the luxury to do like grapples in the air, the double jump thing, the gliding, also the fact there's a lot of like grappling hooks everywhere that you can just grapple to on the map normally. Like not this one that you spawn, right? Like just in general there are grappling hooks on the map. It feels pretty fun, pretty nice. I think if there's only like one small criticism I would have of it is that it takes a while to get used to the jump, because this is a very, very small thing and I'm already used to it after 9 hours. But at the start, there is a bit of a delay between pressing spacebar and jump, more so than in Genshin. But once you get used to that, I think it's fine. Also, jumping isn't that essential for combat necessarily. I think it depends on your character. But yeah, just overall for movement, but it's not much of an issue. If you notice, I have been avoiding talking about the story and the experience there because honestly, yeah, I don't think there's much to say. It feels fine, it's serviceable, and that's probably the best thing I can say about it. Like it serves the purpose of getting us from point A to point B. Apart from that, there's no real stakes to it, right? There's no big dragon threat looming over the city. There is no fragmented monsters to be killed. There's nothing really happening. I guess there's like the cracks in the earth and the monsters are coming out of it, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm just desensitized, but that seems like a side mission kind of threat to me. Like in Sumeru, we had to cleanse the corrupted areas, right? And we get chests and stuff like that, but it's not really a main story kind of thing. I don't feel the consequences of what's gonna happen to people if like they kept to keep fighting. And I don't know, like I don't have any personal stakes in it. I literally just joined. I don't really know much people here. My only friends are Yang and Chisia, these two girls who just randomly like met me and woke me up. I don't have emotional connection to them. And also the villain that we met said that they both knew that I was special, and so like them treating me like they didn't know who I was at the start was kind of lying to me. And so like I don't even know what to think about them at this point. Like I thought they were just like my friends. Now I don't know if I can trust them, which is kind of fine in stories where I guess you have other friends and you want to add a bit of like intrigue and like mystery to it, like, oh, like are they really your friends because they like you, or are they just using you for something, right? But like in this world where we literally have no friends and everyone feels like they're using us, like it doesn't feel like a world I'm attached to, right? It just feels like a world I just joined and now I'm like being told all this stuff. I feel like this game assumes that we have gone through the motions before, and I feel honestly that they're not really trying with the story. And sure, you might say like maybe in the future there's like a payoff or something, but right now it's just very filler in the sense that feels so familiar to the Hoyoverse game stories, where you're just a character that has no memory and you spawn into this world and now you have to save it and you're special. And it really feels like they know that like that's what most people experience, and they just wanted to create a familiar story. Because it is just that it's so familiar. I don't like comparing things. I feel like everything can be judged on its own. But when a game has so much parallels in the story to another game, I can't help but feel the need to compare. I don't think this game's story has the charm of Genshin or Star Rail's story. There are no lovable characters. There are no like cool moments. I was just talking earlier about Paimon
Speeding up.
and how she made memorable moments, even though people might find her cringe and annoying. She did make the Ihit like moment and the emergency food meme thing a thing. It all came from 1.0, right? We have to remember, and that kind of like make the update memorable, even like years down the line for me. And at the time, it was a topic of discussion. There was like, you could say it's annoying, whatever, but I think at the time a lot of people found it charming as well, right? There's no such charm so far in the story. Obviously, I haven't progressed to the part where it's the next part of the story because I'm only level 13 and I'll do level 14 and then probably update you guys on that. But currently, it's not looking good. I wish they cook and they get us invested in more characters. I think right now the way they're trying to sell us characters or like get us connected to characters is like, oh my god, this character is so cool, which is evident by like how they just chose to show us GN, in my opinion. They just show us GN, and what's the point of that, right? It's not to like understand him as on a human level. At least not yet. They might expand on it. But the first thing we ever saw of GN was like him being badass and fighting, right? We literally got to test him out before like we even talked to him. There was no story or anything. We just talked to him, and I feel like it's a coolness factor. But I feel like a lot of these games, like whether you want to admit it or not, it's about parasocial relationships, right? Like you gotta like sell the character on a personal level and get people attached, or else it ain't gonna fly. Like I feel like coolness only takes you so far, and I mean you can do it, but I feel like you can like not copy, but like you can be heavily inspired, I guess, by Genshin's gameplay systems, Genshin looks, Genshin like feel of open world combat game. But the Genshin way of selling characters is also very distinct, you know. Yeah, I'm just a bit worried of how like the longevity, because the gameplay is so fun. The gameplay is so fun, but it might not reach a wide audience because of what you're hit with when you first start, right? Which is the story. I mean, yes, they do show the combat off at the start, but the story, the fact that you're required to do like side quests and stuff with like such bad story or like boring story, at least there's a skip button, but you know, like could be a big deterrent, I feel. Okay, now to talk about things I actually did like, apart from combat. I wrote a lot of them down. The puzzles are nice. I like the open world like exploration kind of feeling as well. It's nice to have open world. Puzzles feel like decently difficult. A lot of them are kind of easy, but if they can just scale up the difficulty, right? And I'm sure they will in the future. I also like when they change up like certain things. I like the racing segment. I like that a lot with the racing guy on the bike. I like Lin Yang's story quest where it became like a 2D platformer almost. And also like the shooting range, right? In one of the side quests. Just stuff like that, right? Like when you turn into a fly and you have to go collect all the stuff by flying through the rings as well. That was very nice. I think anything that kind of differentiates it from, honestly, Genshin, right, is good. Probably MC expression is too stoic. Yeah, maybe. Also, they're very serious. When they talk, they're always like talking business. But they do have funny lines, so there's a bit of disconnect to me. I don't know. Every time that I hear their voice, they're talking business, very technical stuff like in the science lab, and every time there's like a dialogue option, there's always like a funny dialogue option, so I don't know. Okay, anyway, that's enough yapping for today. I will continue the story and will give my thoughts on it after I finish it. I hope that this ages very badly, okay? I hope this ages badly. I hope the second part slaps and everyone says haha lamau. We'll see. Maybe I'll actually like pay a lot of close attention to the next story and see what happens, okay? But in exchange, if the next story is still pretty bad, then I will yap even harder about it, okay? Deal? But that's it. Yep. Obviously, those are just my opinions. But yeah, that's that. Yeah, I'm done yapping.